Assalamu alaikum everyone. The topic that I've chosen for today is research proposal or how to draft a research proposal. I received a few questions regarding that. People were a bit confused about the structure, the content, and how to start basically. Now, it's a very lengthy topic and slightly complicated as well. Not a lot, but it's a slightly complicated process. Therefore, I may have to do 2 to 3 videos on that. So please bear with me. Um, but yeah, I'll try to cover it as best as I can. So yeah, getting into it, for in every research proposal you'll find at least 6 main headings. Normally it starts with the aims of the study, then it's followed by literature review. The third one is methodology. Fourth, ethics. Fifth, the proposed timeline for the project, and last one is references. So by and large, you will always find these 6 headings. I'll repeat that. The aims of the study right at the top, and then you have your literature review, and then you have your methodology, and then ethics, proposed timeline for the project, and the last one is usually references. Now, please bear in mind that under methodology, because methodology is the heart of your research proposal and your research as well. Once you start doing it, you have many subheadings. You have your data collection instruments, in your data analysis procedures, sampling, and whatnot. So we will get to that when we get to methodology. But for now, these are the 6 main headings. Yeah. So starting off with the aims of the study, which is your very first one. That's a very simple one. Usually there are just 4 or 5 sentences over there, very short paragraph. There's nothing lengthy to it. Uh, what people do is that they just, obviously it's the aims of the study, so the objective or the objectives of the study, and then the gaps that were identified while reading the literature, in a few short sentences, and then how will this study add to the existing body of work for the topic that you're researching. I'll repeat that very quickly. Under the aims of study, you can have the objective or the objectives of the study, the gaps that were identified, and of course, how will this study add to the existing body of work or existing knowledge that is already there regarding the subject that you're researching. So that's it's a very simple one. Sometimes people do it right at the end of the research proposal, like the heading itself is at the top at the very beginning, but people write whatever they have to write under that at the end of the research proposal, because perhaps they have a better understanding by then because of that. But it's up to you really how you do it, how you start. Um, the second one, which follows, as I said, is literature review. Literature review, it's a very important section of your of your research proposal, because you are going to prove to the reader that first you know your topic, you know your subject, and you have done some homework on it, you have done some reading on it. Therefore, in your literature review, you have to make sure that you read 10 to 12, depending on your level, 10 to 12 research articles, so that you develop a very good understanding of the topic that you are about to research. I did a video on Google Scholar. If you are a little confused about finding articles and whatnot, that video could help you. So take a look if whenever you can. Yeah, so 10 to 12 research articles. Once you start reading them, you have to read them critically. It's not just superficial reading. You have to read the articles critically. You have to, basically you're looking for something. You're looking for connections, and then you're looking for things that are there, but you can't find any connections. So how do I explain this? So I can give you an example. Right, I wanted to research, like it was like a comparative study between native English speaking teachers and non-native English speaking teachers, right? So I knew that there was something there. I just had to look for it. So what I did was that I chose 10 to 12 articles. I started reading, and this is because a part of research is one of the main things that you have to do as a researcher is that you have to challenge the status quo, right? There are certain stereotypes out there, or there are certain well-established concepts there that you think that they're not quite right. So as a researcher, you have to challenge those concepts and status quo, as I said, right? So I started reading that, And I found out that there were these two gentlemen. I've got the names there somewhere. I hope I'm pronouncing them right. Alghofaili and Elyas. So these two gentlemen, they actually found out then that non-native English speaking teachers and native English speaking teachers, they're equally good at teaching speaking skills. So process that, let that register. Or if you go out, for example, if you go to Saudi Arabia, for example, or certain countries in Middle East, generally, even Pakistan, generally the concept is that if there is a native speaker out there who's willing to teach English, they should be hired, and they should be preferred over non-native English speaking teachers. Why? Because they are going to teach speaking skills a lot better. This is what most people think, right? But in 2019, as I said, these two gentlemen, they conducted some research, and they found out that non-native English speaking teachers and native English speaking teachers, sorry, that's a mouthful, they are both equally good at teaching speaking skills. Now, so that's the kind of stuff that you're looking for while you do your reading. This research was conducted in Middle East. So what I did was that, I thought about it. I was like, okay, in that context, they have found out whatever they have found out. Has anything been done in the context of Pakistan? So I looked for that, and there was nothing of that sort. Pakistan actually, it's a bit unfortunate, and it's a bit fortunate as well, both, at the same time, unfortunately or fortunately, however you want to put it. There's very little research done on Pakistan, may it be any field. So when you set out to do something, people actually welcome that, especially people in first world countries, academics in first world countries, they welcome that because there's not a lot of work done on Pakistan. So what I did was I took that concept, I put it in the Pakistani context, and I started looking for that, and as expected, there was almost nothing that was done in the Pakistani context as far as this topic was concerned. So I wrote to my supervisor. I said to them that this is what I want to explore further in the light of these research articles, and this is going to be my research question. Your research question is going to flow from your literature review. As I said, try to understand this process once more. When you read all the articles, not only your understanding of the topic will get better, but also you will start seeing the gaps in the literature. And once you see those gaps, you will be able to formulate a research question based on those gaps. And that's what we are looking for. That's what you are looking for. That's what a good, sound literature review does, right? It's literature review. You're reviewing the literature to find out what's missing. And if it's missing, once you find it, that's how you develop a question based on the gap, and then you go from there. So I hope that makes sense. So yeah, I'll very quickly recap the two headings that we have covered. This is video 1 for research proposal writing. The two headings that we have covered: the first one, aims of the study. That is a very simple one. The objectives of the study, the gap that you identified in the literature, and how will this study potentially add to the existing body of work. And then your literature review, it's best that you read 10 to 12 articles, depending on your level, of course, depending on the project that you're doing. After reading 10 to 12 articles, you will definitely see some gaps in the literature. When you see those gaps, your research question will come to you automatically, naturally, and based on those gaps and based on those on that research question, you can move towards methodology, which we will talk about in the next video. Yeah, again, as I always say, if there are any questions, any concerns, please raise them. I will try to answer as best as I can. Yeah, thank you very much. Bye-bye.